Henry Cavill reveals how he'd play James Bond, gritty, intense, and eerily close to Daniel Craig's take. Could he still get his shot? Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more videos. Henry Cavill once came this close to being James Bond. Picture it, a younger Cavill, all sharp suits and smoldering stares, nearly stepping into 007's shoes before Daniel Craig locked it down. But what if Cavill had taken the role? Turns out, he had a whole vision, one that sounds eerily familiar. His take on Bond? Gritty, dangerous, the kind of guy you could feel before he even walked into the room. Henry Cavill's Bond vision, a blend of cool and danger, like Daniel Craig's 007. Henry Cavill had a clear vision for James Bond, one that felt eerily close to Daniel Craig's take. In an interview with Interview magazine, Cavill shared how he saw 007 as a mix of Sean Connery's effortless cool and Craig's raw intensity. He said, "Well, I just loved the coolness of Connery's Bond. He just sort of oozes cool. And Craig was very real and powerful. You could practically smell the danger on him. There was a danger to Connery's Bond, too, but sort of at his leisure. To play Bond, though, and then for the world to perceive you in a certain way, is very different from playing Superman. Bond is not this ideal figure." His description of Craig's Bond is an interesting take, especially considering Cavill almost became Bond himself. Back when Casino Royale was casting, he was a top contender. But the role ultimately went to Craig, who redefined the character with grit and realism. Turns out, Cavill was on the same wavelength. He also pointed out a key difference between Bond and another iconic role he's played, Superman. Unlike the Man of Steel, Bond isn't a hero in the traditional sense. Superman, on the other hand, is an ideal. Kids look up to him, expecting him to save the day. Bond, not so much. He explained, "I wouldn't say Bond is an ideal figure, no. The character has been performed in so many different ways that people go, 'Oh, that's an interesting take on Bond.' But with Superman, there are certain limitations for an actor. You can't go past certain boundaries because then you cease to be what the character is. I guess the difference is that Bond is a very human character. But kids in India who've never watched TV don't run around with James Bond t-shirts on. If there is some sort of trouble at home, kids don't think that James Bond is going to come save their mum from their dad, or their dad from their mum. They don't think, Bond is going to come and save me." Superman is a different sort of idealized figure. With Daniel Craig's Bond era wrapped up, Cavill's comments make one thing clear: his version wouldn't have been too far off. Henry Cavill and James Bond? Not happening. At 41, he's aged out of the role. Barbara Broccoli and MGM want someone younger who can commit to multiple films. Plus, Cavill's already too famous. The Witcher, Superman, audiences know him too well, and Bond thrives on a fresh face. But missing out on 007 hasn't slowed him down. Cavill flexed his spy chops in The Man from UNCLE and teamed up with Guy Ritchie again for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Next up, action thriller in the gray. Bond or not, Cavill's still building an elite roster of iconic roles. Henry Cavill once teased his involvement in 50 Shades of Grey, leaving fans hopeful, only to later reveal he was just joking. While we assumed Henry Cavill to be a handsome hunk, a muscular hero, a monster-hunting witcher, and maybe even a spy, none of us expected him to be a prankster, leading fans straight into a fantasy that was never going to happen. But here we are, fooled, misled, and proven wrong.
Cavill was born in Jersey, the largest and southernmost of the Channel Islands, which are dependent territories of the British Crown and are located off the coast of Normandy, France. He is the fourth of 5 sons of Marianne Cavill, née Dalgliesh, a secretary, and Colin Cavill, a stockbroker. The family lived in St. Helier, where Henry Cavill grew up playing computer games with his brothers. At age 13, he left Jersey to attend the Stowe School, a boarding school in Buckinghamshire, England. At Stowe, Cavill developed an interest in acting and participated in school productions, including Grease, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Tom Stoppard's Dog's Hamlet. At age 16, he and his classmates had the opportunity to be extras in the movie Proof of Life, 2000, starring Russell Crowe. While on set, Cavill introduced himself to the recent Oscar winner, who encouraged him to pursue acting professionally. Cavill soon landed a role in Vendetta, 2001, followed by another in Kevin Reynolds' big-screen adaptation of The Count of Monte Cristo, 2002. For the part of Albert Mandigo, Cavill, who has said that he was teased for being overweight as a kid, was encouraged to lose several pounds. In addition, Cavill had guest roles in a number of British television shows as well as supporting parts in the coming-of-age film I Capture the Castle, 2003, and an adaptation of the Celtic romance Tristan plus Isolde, 2006. During this period, Cavill auditioned for several iconic roles, including Superman and James Bond, which ultimately went to Brandon Routh in Superman Returns and Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, both 2006, respectively. Those setbacks led him to consider following in the footsteps of two of his elder brothers and joining the armed forces. In 2007, however, Cavill garnered his first leading role in The Tudors, a cable series following the exploits of Henry VIII, played by Irish actor Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Cavill portrayed Charles Brandon, a loyal courtier to the king. The series helped make Cavill a familiar face, and during its 4 seasons, 2007 to 10, he also appeared in such films as the adventure fantasy Stardust, 2007, and the Woody Allen comedy Whatever Works, 2009. After The Tudors, Cavill proved his skill as an action star, playing Greek hero Theseus in Immortals, 2011, and the son of a CIA agent, played by Bruce Willis, in The Cold Light of Day, 2012. In 2011, Cavill announced that he had been cast as Clark Kent/Superman in Man of Steel, 2013. He later admitted that he had missed the call from director Zack Snyder offering him the job because he had been playing the online game World of Warcraft. To portray the Man of Steel, Cavill transformed his body, adding so much muscle that he sometimes split the seams of his Superman costume. He also had the opportunity to work alongside Crow, who played Superman's father. Jor-El. Cavill went on to reprise the role in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016, starring opposite Ben Affleck as Batman, and in Justice League, 2017, featuring such DC comic book heroes as Wonder Woman, played by Israeli actress Gal Gadot. In between Superman films, Cavill starred in director Guy Ritchie's big-screen adaptation of The Man from UNCLE, 2015, playing a CIA agent who teams up with a KGB agent, played by Armie Hammer, and in Sandcastle, 2017, portraying a Special Forces captain on a 2003 tour of Iraq. Cavill then played the main antagonist in Mission Impossible Fallout, 2018, the 6th installment of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible series. In 2019, he assumed the lead role in the hit Netflix series The Witcher, based on the novels by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski, whose sources include Polish mythology and Slavic folklore. Cavill played Sherlock Holmes, the elder brother of aspiring sleuth Enola Holmes in the movies Enola Holmes, 2020, and Enola Holmes 2, 2022. In 2022, Cavill had a cameo as Superman in Black Adam, renewing speculation that he was planning a return to the role 5 years after Justice League.